Hey, friends, have you ever had the devastating, traumatic, painful, overwhelming experience of being cheated on, experienced infidelity, whether in your marriage or by a partner that you loved and trusted and saw greater prospects for your relationship? If you have been through that traumatic experience, I want to talk to you today about what are the 5 things you should do first once you have discovered it. And maybe you just discovered it. Maybe you hear catching this episode, this video, and you just discovered it and you're not sure what to do. Maybe it's been months or even years, but you didn't know what to do. This video is still for you. And so I want you to stay tuned and let me walk you through the first 5 things that you should do. My name is Rod Hairston. I am a relationships expert. I am an executive marriage coach. I enjoy and I have the privilege of working with highly effective and highly accomplished professionals in sports and business and entertainment. And this is not a new subject for me. I've spent a lot of time supporting, encouraging, helping people recover from infidelity, from cheating, helping people get to the roots of why they cheated in the first place and what was going on inside of them. And it is a brutal, brutal experience. In fact, in my work with couples, we have coined a phrase called the tsunami, the emotional tsunami of infidelity that upends people's lives. It turns their entire world upside down. It does something to you on the inside. It takes the breath out of you when you discover that somebody you loved and trusted cheated on you. And so the big question is, what should I do first? And that's what I want to tackle as the topic today. I was talking with a dear friend of mine whose husband cheated on her 2 years ago. And she said, Rod, I didn't know what to do. She said, I went off. And she said, we had kind of this drip effect for us because she said, I knew something was off. I knew that things were not cool. And I kind of didn't want to just jump into blaming and sort of, instigating. She said, but I knew something wasn't right. And then about 2 weeks later, she discovered indeed, and in fact, he had been cheating with somebody on his job. That's a whole nother story. And we're going to talk about why people cheat with people on their job. We'll get to that one in another episode. She says, but I did not know what to do. And y'all know what we do when we find out somebody has cheated. We go postal sometimes. I mean, we just go ballistic. We go off. I've had clients start throwing things and slamming doors, and it can get violent. It can get very toxic fast, right? It can get really ugly really quickly. And it's understandable because emotions are so high, because the pain level is so extraordinary that people just lose it oftentimes. Sometimes people just get depressed and shut down and they don't know what to do. What should I do now that I know the thing I didn't want to happen to me? It's kind of like what Job said in the Bible. The thing I feared the most has come upon me. The thing I feared most has happened to me. And so what do we do? Here's the first thing. Let me give you thing number one. First of all, decide that you will not blame yourself. Oh my goodness. Decide that you won't blame yourself. You're not responsible for the behavior of anyone, even your spouse or your partner. You're not responsible for what they do, what they did. And there is no justification for it. Like, there's no justification for cheating on somebody you say you love, somebody that you say you're committed to, somebody that there was some trust. There's no justification for it, right? Don't go blaming yourself like you can't be too short or too tall, too big or too small. None of that, right? The sex wasn't frequent enough, good enough. And so I did. And, It was the only thing I could do. It was the only thing I could think of to do to fix the problem in our relationship. No, absolutely not. Don't accept any of that justification and do not blame you. You have to decide off D, that's DE, side, cut. You have to cut yourself off from the notion that somehow it was you, that you weren't good enough, that you didn't do enough, that you weren't sufficient enough in some way, that in some reason there was a justification based on something that you didn't bring to the table. Nothing could be farther from the truth. I want to punch that lie right in the face. Can I just talk to you real quick? Ain't nothing wrong with you. Well, maybe there is, but there's something wrong with all of us. How about that? There's something wrong with me. Nobody's perfect. That's my point. None of us gets it all right. None of us brings everything that somebody needs to the table of a relationship. You just don't. It wasn't your fault. Decide right now that you're not going to blame you. You're not going to take responsibility for somebody else's decision to do something that was devastatingly wrong. Decide you're not going to blame you. Don't blame you. I just want to talk to you. I don't even know who you are, but this video was made just for you. Stop blaming yourself. It wasn't your fault. You're not responsible. Did I beat that horse long enough? Yeah. The first thing you got to decide is that I'm not taking the blame. It's what I call the blame and shame game, that the voice of the devil plays with us, and sometimes the voice of the person who cheated on us plays with us. All right, so don't blame yourself. Here's the next one. You ready? Number 2, don't make any big or rash decisions. That's the first thing I tell people. Well, that's the second thing I tell people. Like, don't make life altering decisions. Don't make decisions that are all or none. I'm leaving. This is over. I'm taking the kids. Get out of my life. Right? Just like don't make life altering decisions right now. And I know what happens, because some of us experience this infidelity and it's so devastating. And it's like, that was always my deal breaker. And so the deal is broken. And so now this is what it is. Like, it's been 10 minutes and you have changed your entire life. And you don't want to make a life altering decision because you're not in the best state that you can be in to make your best decision. When our anxiety is high, when our disappointment is severe, when anger is raging, our minds, our brains can't function at optimum for making decisions, because the part of our brain where we make executive decisions, the place of executive functioning, is not online. It's not at its best. It's not clear. And so you really want to not make a decision. And again, you got to decide, cut yourself off from making a life altering decision. Don't decide anything harmful to yourself. Don't decide anything major that's going to sort of shake up all of your life. This is not even about the other person. It's not even about the prospect of whether we're going to stay together, whether our marriage is going to make it, or this relationship is going to make it. It's about you preserving yourself for a better time to make clearer decisions. So that's number 2. Don't make a make or break, all or none, life-changing decision. All right, here's the third thing. Make an appointment with your physician. Yep, go get checked out. Go let your doctor do whatever the examination would be appropriate, so that you can determine, is there a sexually transmitted disease? Is there a physical implication because of my partner's cheating? Right? That's a real thing. People find out, and it just adds to the trauma. It adds to the disgust. It adds to the nauseating feeling that I live with someone, I've been with someone who was cheated on me, because I know I didn't do it. I know I didn't get this disease from somewhere based on my behavior. And so if you find that out, um, it's devastating. But the sooner you can find out, the better you can take care of your health. And that's what I really want to encourage. I know it's embarrassing to have to go to the doctor's office and to find out from some tests, get a call or get it back in my chart. Yes, you are positive for this, and you've never had this anywhere in your life. It's never been a part of your story. And all of a sudden, somebody else is cheating, is now cheating your health, putting your health at risk and your life at risk. Please go to see your doctor. Some of y'all are like, I should have done that first. Yeah, but most people, that's not the first thing that registers. But I'm encouraging you, I'm challenging you, I'm admonishing you. Go to your doctor and get an examination so that you can have clarity as to your own physical well-being. All right, here's number 4. Um, get some space between you and your cheating spouse or partner. Get some space. You say, well, I thought I shouldn't make a life altering decision. I shouldn't make a break. No, what I'm saying is you can't make your best decisions without some space from the person who has inflicted trauma upon you and who will trigger you every time you see him or her. They will trigger you, and you will feel like you will feel the disgust again. You will feel the anger again. You will feel the disappointment again. It will have an impact on you. And so you need some space. Well, how long do I need to get space? Where am I going to go? Where are they going to go? Um, Maybe you need to go to a friend's. Maybe you need to just let them figure out where they're going, but you need some space. And I would suggest easily, at least for a week, depending on how severe the situation is. You need room to breathe. You need room to begin to get your faculties, your mental faculties back online. You need some room to be around one or two people that you can trust, who can console you, who can support you, not people who are going to just keep reminding you how horrible the person is who did what they did. That's not who you want around you when you're getting space. You need some space so that you can think. Maybe if you're like me, you're a person of faith. I believe in the Lord. Like I need room. I would need room to just pray. I need room to pray and seek some wise counsel, some godly counsel, so that I can just begin to process what has happened to me. And let me just tell you, having been around and supported people through this journey, coached people through this journey, trained leaders in other spaces who are working with couples in this particular challenge, you need space. You really need space. You need space to process. And so I want to encourage you to get yourself to a place of some space that feels safe for you. So that's number 4. Get to a place of safety. Get to a place where you feel safe, where you can be. You don't have to be triggered and re-triggered by seeing the other person. Now, let me just say this. Sometimes people don't want the other person, the spouse who cheated to leave them because there's this bond, there's this connection, and you can feel like something is missing even though something is badly broken. And what I'm saying is it's healthier for you if you can have some space. Maybe that space in some cases can work if the two of you are still in the same house, but I'm not a big fan of that. So I want to encourage you. Step 4, the 4th thing to do is to get some space where you can think. Maybe you need to go to a hotel for a couple of days and just be alone and go to work from there. Whatever works for you, get some space. Here's the last one. You got to establish some terms for your life. While you're in the space, getting the space that you need, you want to start establishing some terms for your life. Like the first thing I would ask is, who do I want to be when this is all done? When the dust settles and we get to the bottom of this, if we decide to stay together, even if we don't decide to stay together, I hope your marriage stays together. If you're married, you can survive it. But I know that just because it can doesn't mean it will. And I'm a marriage coach. I coach marriages. I try to help people stay together, but I'm a realist also. So you want to get clear on some terms. Who is it that I want to be when this is all said and done? Who did I become in this relationship that I wasn't really aware of? I didn't realize that I was giving this person so much room of my life, so much power, that I excused so many behaviors, that I allowed myself to be treated in a certain way. Maybe that's a part of the story. And one of the terms is I'll no longer be treated this way. I'll no longer be who I became. Maybe one of the terms for you is I got into this relationship for the wrong reason, looking for the wrong things. And one of the terms is I'm not going to sell myself short, compromise myself, my own personhood, compromise my own value and worth because I thought that I needed this person in order to be somebody. What are your terms? You got to establish your terms, write them down, contemplate these, reflect on these. What are the terms? How do I want my children to be handled in the midst of all of this? And I've seen people drag the children in. You know, your mother or your father did X, Y, and Z, and now all of a sudden the children are terribly disrupted, right? And they need a better process for how they learn of these things and when they learn of these things, right? Don't do the triangulation thing. Oh, my spouse is bad, or my partner's bad, and now I'm going to bring the children into it, right? Settle down. Go work on your terms. What is it that I want the children to know? How do I want them to come out? These are my terms for how I'm going to deal with my kids with regard to this. You got to get clear on some terms, some clear on some. Um, it's almost kind of a new legislation for your life. Maybe you got to get moving forward in a part of your life that you were putting on hold, that was keeping you from being who you were designed to be because you were tied down in this particular relationship. What are your terms? What is it that you won't tolerate anymore if the relationship stays together or if it doesn't? I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. I'm not going to compromise this anymore about my life and my value. You got to start establishing your terms. Here's what I know about the storm, the tsunami of infidelity, that even the worst storms can bring in a fresh breeze. Even a bad storm has a way of cleaning out some old mess in our lives. And so I want to encourage you that even if you've been through infidelity, you're not hopeless, you're not worthless, you are valuable, you've got something wonderful to bring to the table. Let the storm refine you, don't let it define you. Let it refine you, don't let it define you. Yeah, you still have extraordinary life ahead of you, great things to offer to the world, because there's something inside of you that's bigger than what happened to you. So make sure you park, make sure you get yourself some time to work through all of these challenges. And before you go, let me just tell you that there is a guide that I've created based on this video, but we'll take it a little bit farther, for what are the first 5 steps after I discover the infidelity. I just talked about it in this video, but I want you to get the guide because the guide is going to help you so that you can think even more deeply. There's some questions for the terms, and then there's some further details about these 5 steps to take. But make sure that you click in the description, get the guide, let it be a help to you. Hey, I just want you to know that you're valuable, you're a treasure, you're an extraordinary person. I hope you can receive this with all of the sincerity that I can offer it. I know that it's devastating, whether it happened yesterday or whether it happened 10 years ago. You are amazing, and God sees you. Hey, I'm Rod Hairston. I'm so glad that we were here together today. I am I'm certain that this was helpful to you. And if it was, would you just leave a comment? Let me know. If there's some things you want to ask, whether, I thought about this or about that, something you want me to add to the guide, perhaps, just let me know. I'm here to serve you, here to encourage you. I want you to know that in spite of the devastation of the infidelity, the cheating, you're going to make it. You are absolutely going to make it. All right. Hey, I will see you in the